They're powerful and influential. What they say matters. They are the power players. They influence us all with their powers of persuasion. These activists are out to save the world, with or without our help.
Hollywood has always been involved in some ways in bringing attention to a lot of issues. We used to sell war bonds. We've been doing it a long time. We're fairly good at getting cameras to show up.
George Clooney. He's one of Hollywood's most talented actors and biggest heartthrobs. With screaming fans all over the world, he gained fame as Dr. Doug Ross in the television medical drama series ER, but turned his attention to film. That daring move has now made him an A-list movie star. He is an Academy Award and Golden Globe winning actor who balances his career between acting, producing and directing, and has been known to become involved in more riskier projects. But lately he's turned his attention to far more important subjects, such as the environment, the war in Darfur, and has also become a United Nations ambassador.
I don't know that I'll achieve anything. What I expect to do is not sit on the sidelines and talk about it, but get involved. And so, I've been involved primarily in Darfur and Chad issues. And then you sort of understand that those are part of a much broader area and region. And so the idea of the first places we went were places in that general vicinity, so I could have a different understanding of the peacekeeping process.
Clooney is an active advocate and has a major involvement in the solution to the Darfur conflict, which began in 2003. He, along with his father, travelled there to film The Horrible Truth, which throughout the years was partly caused by drought, desertification and overpopulation.
Chad and Darfur. A lot of bad things are happening over here right now. My father and I thought we'd come over and take a look for ourselves.
We started in South Sudan. It took 2 days to get to the border of Darfur. We heard there were a lot of refugees pouring south. We found a village called Jacques with over 1,000 displaced families. This isn't a refugee camp. There are no tents to shelter them. Most just sleep under trees. No food, no water.
He's involved in Not On Our Watch with fellow actors and activists Don Cheadle and Brad Pitt. This organisation focuses on global attention and resources to stop and prevent appalling conditions. So far, they've managed more than $9.3 million.
Automatically enemies, so they're not going to listen. So we need to find the allies.
He's spoken in front of the Security Council of the UN to ask them to find a solution to the conflict and the people of Darfur, and has appeared in front of governments to pressure them to do more for the situation. And for his efforts to bring peace to the war-torn region of Darfur, he was awarded the Summit Peace Award, along with Don Cheadle, even though they both still feel more needs to be done.
Now, my job is to come here today and to beg you on behalf of the millions of people who will die, and make no mistake, they will die, for you to take real and effective measures to put an end to this.
Being a supporter of presidential candidate Barack Obama, Clooney has had many people try to convince him to run for political office in his home state of Kentucky. But his response made it clear that he's not interested. Instead, Clooney wants to get out there, be involved and show the people the real issues of the world, and try to bring us together to solve the problems and find solutions. This is one of the reasons he was selected to promote the UN's peacekeeping missions around the world. He classes his new role as not just a responsibility, but also an honour.
It is now my pleasure to proclaim you, Mr. George T. Clooney, as the United Nations Messenger of Peace. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It seems George Clooney is really using his star power for good and achieving results.
That they've been unfairly treated by the international community, that the calls...
It's not a political issue, or at least it shouldn't be. because it actually is a moral issue. We only have one planet.
Al Gore, former Vice President of the United States of America, began his political career many years ago after being drafted by the United States Army to serve in the Vietnam War. He served under Bill Clinton from 1993 till 2001, and then ran for president against George W. Bush, but this proved unsuccessful. After the loss of the presidential campaign, Gore underwent what some have described as a reinvention of the stiff and emotionless persona that he displayed during the campaign, by poking fun at himself and appearing in episodes of Saturday Night Live and cartoon comedy Futurama. He's now known for his environmentalist work and his push for climate change. He was one of the first politicians to grasp the seriousness of climate change and to call for a reduction in emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. He starred in the Academy Award-winning documentary film An Inconvenient Truth, which tells of his 30-year campaign to warn people about global warming. This became the fourth highest grossing documentary in US history. When asked to join the film director on stage when accepting the Oscar, he received a standing ovation after giving a brief speech about solving the climate crisis. He first began voicing his opinion back in the 70s, and in 1994, on Earth Day, he launched the Globe program. Its purpose was to enhance the collective awareness of individuals throughout the world concerning the environment and the impacts of human activities on it.
It's, of course, very flattering for them to ask me to be a part of this, and it's an opportunity for me to say again that this message that's in the movie, An Inconvenient Truth, is one I hope everybody will share.
In 2007, Live Earth benefit concerts were held around the world in an effort to raise awareness about climate change. The event, partly organised by Gore, featured more than 150 musical acts in 11 locations around the world and was broadcast through television, radio and internet. Gore also spearheaded the Live Earth Pledge, better known as the 7-Point Pledge, which is a petition made during the Live Earth campaign. It was designed to urge governments to take on a variety of environmental protection laws. Gore can also proudly say that he is shared in the Nobel Peace Prize Award with the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change for their efforts to spread greater knowledge about climate change. He's now chairman of American television channel Current TV, which is an Emmy Award-winning independent media company that features pods or short programs that are created partly by viewers and users.
The AIDS pandemic in Africa is leaving an entire generation of children without parents.
Is television for the internet generation. And it is television over satellite and cable. And it's compelling, and it's entertaining, and it's relevant, and it's delivered in the voice of a new generation.
It seems this once presidential candidate is helping the world more now that he's an activist.
I was not interested in running a dime a dozen cosmetic company. I was not interested in seeing the way businesses are run, which are about private greed. I wanted to show more developed emotion than fear and greed within this. It was an experiment.
Dame Anita Roddick was the founder of the British cosmetics company, The Body Shop. It was this business and her passion of helping causes close to her heart that led her to becoming one of the most powerful and influential women of our century. She opened her first body shop with the intentions of making an income for herself and her 2 daughters while her husband was away. She thought up her ideas while travelling the world, and it was a success. She was able to open her second shop just 6 months later. By 1991, the body shop had 700 branches. Now it has over 2,000 stores in more than 50 countries and is the second largest cosmetics franchise in the world.
Businesses are petrified by consumer revolt when customers saying not only will boycott, but we will campaign, we will legislate, we will fund against your behaviour.
Roddick and her organisation support a number of issues around the world, with such slogans as Against Animal Testing, Active Self-Esteem and Protect Our Planet. The Body Shop was one of the first companies to prohibit the use of ingredients tested on animals, and one of the first to promote fair trade with third world countries.
Years ago, this European Parliament, which is directly elected, passed an overwhelming vote that on January the 1st, 1998, a European-wide ban would be imposed on the sale of cosmetic products or ingredients that had been tested on animals.
Roddick and her body shop had created controversy many times over with marketing campaigns, like using obese Barbie dolls that came with the tagline, "There are 3 billion women in the world and only 8 that look like supermodels." But she had to fight several times though to demonstrate the truth about her company and products. In 1994, she won a libel case against a television station after it claimed that some Body Shop products contained animal products, in dispute of the company's Against Animal Testing slogan.
You know, the most important thing when you're values driven is to take those values and stand by them. And you know, whether it was £1 or 275,000 isn't the point. The point is, you know, it's a brave fight often, fighting the media, traditional media. And we did it. I mean, there was no option. We'd have done it again even if we had it not, wouldn't we?
Yes.
In the early 90s, Roddick accepted the World Vision Award for Development Initiative, and in 2003 was awarded Dame Commander of the British Empire and officially named Dame Anita Roddick. She's been acknowledged around the world for her campaigning work against environmental issues, human rights and animal testing, just to name a few.
Secret was the fact that we had another agenda, not just making products for the skin and hair. We had a very progressive political agenda. You know, we can turn the shops into action stations. We campaigned on human rights. We changed the law in this country on the issue of animal testing within the cosmetic industry. And 12 million of our customers around the world put their thumbprint to defend human rights workers. So that made us more interesting.
Unfortunately, this businesswoman, wife, mother and activist lost her life when she suffered a major brain hemorrhage at age 64. But she will always be an inspiration to many.
Rock stars always want to do 2 things. They want to have fun and they want to change the world. If you can do both at the same time, you're okay.
Bono. He's known around the world as the frontman of one of the most popular and loved rock bands of our time, U2. This multiple Grammy award-winning rock band has been making inspirational music for over 3 decades, selling millions of albums worldwide and entering the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But there's more to this rock god than meets the eye. He's also helping the world fight against some of the toughest battles we've ever encountered, such as AIDS and poverty. As an activist and philanthropist, he's trying to save the world in more ways than one. not just by sharing his message of peace and love with his music, but also by using his celebrity status for good, along with donating a good portion of his money and time.
Just, you know, to use your star power for people who have no power at all, it's got to be a good thing. I mean, I'm as sick of celebrities as the next man, and I am one, I suppose, although I hate that word. But, you know, it's ridiculous to have this thing called celebrity, but it's currency, and I want to spend mine wisely.
Having joined forces with some of the world's most powerful people, Bono, along with Microsoft creator Bill Gates and friends, spend a lot of their time promoting awareness around the world and educating people on how to make a change for the better. He has helped organise and played in several benefit concerts and is probably best known for his involvement in the Live 8 concerts held around the world and organised with Bob Geldof. An estimated 3 billion people watched the Live 8 concerts and came together with one message: to make poverty history. The concert in Hyde Park alone raised more than $6 million, with over half of that going to charities. Since the late 90s, Bono has become increasingly involved in campaigning for third world debt relief and raising awareness of the plight of Africa, including the AIDS pandemic. He's been known to meet with several high-powered, influential people and to take them on a tour of Africa. He has created many organisations to eradicate poverty and HIV/AIDS in Africa. One such organisation is DARTA, which stands for Debt, AIDS, Trade, Africa, and was established in 2002. It encourages Americans to get involved with political matters and to voice their opinion. Not only does Bono create organisations, he takes a major involvement as an active public spokesperson. Product Red, which he co-created and is the face of, raises funds for the global funds to fight AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria, and is licensed to partner companies, one in particular, Motorola.
You just get your SIM card and stick it in the phone. You don't have to change your number, but you can change the world for somebody who really needs their world to be changed. I.e., if you have AIDS in Africa and you're dying right now, making a phone call can really help pay for those drugs.
Using this Motorola phone, 5% of your monthly bill is automatically donated to charity. Being the recipient of many awards, he was awarded with Time magazine's Person of the Year, as well as being named on Time's 100 Most Influential People in 2004 and 2006. He was also nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2003, 2004 and 2006 for his work on third world debt relief and increasing AIDS awareness. Bono, rock star, humanitarian, activist. Michael Moore is an Academy Award-winning director, producer, and is a self-described liberal and activist. He's known for his controversial, in-your-face documentaries that talk about issues that really matter and that no one else is brave enough to tackle, such as gun violence and the American health system. His films send his message out to the world, which has occasionally left him under attack by the US government.
We're not talking about a movie at this point, or the opening of a movie, or the promotion of a movie. We're talking about, this is an individual named Michael Moore, who is under attack, being investigated, and being threatened with fines or jail, and the confiscation of his film.
3 of his documentaries are in the top 5 highest-grossing documentaries of all time, and he is now considered one of the most influential people. He has been the centre of several controversies, mainly because of his political views and directing style, which is presenting a serious situation in a humorous way. His film Fahrenheit 9/11 looks at the aftermath of the September 11 attacks, particularly the record of the Bush administration and alleged links between the families of George W. Bush and Osama bin Laden. Through facts, footage and interviews, Moore illustrates this argument of how Bush and his companions have gotten America into worse trouble than ever before. Such controversy, though, led to the top honour, and he received the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. It was the first documentary to win the prize since 1956.
The jury is proud to award the Palme d'Or this year at the Cannes Film Festival to Fahrenheit 9/11.
It seemed for Moore that all his hard work and persistence with his ideas of the truth paid off.
Many people want the truth to be put away, to be put in the closet. And you've taken it out of the closet by this act. And there was a great Republican president in America who once said that if you just give the people the truth, the republic will be safe. That was Abraham Lincoln, a different kind of Republican.
It's not only Fahrenheit 9/11 that gave Moore an award. His documentary, Bowling for Columbine, a film about guns and violence in the United States, came about after the Columbine High School massacre of 1999. It received the Academy Award for Documentary Feature. His next film, Sicko, was about the American healthcare system, focusing particularly on the managed care and pharmaceutical industries. At least 4 major pharmaceutical companies ordered their employees not to do any interviews with the director. The film was the subject of more controversy when it became known that Moore went to Cuba with chronically ill 9/11 rescue workers to shoot parts of the film. The United States is looking into whether this violates the trade embargo.
We view these actions taken by the Bush administration as a form of harassment. The law is very clear about this. We've broken no laws. The law says that any American can travel to Cuba for any journalistic endeavor that they wish to pursue.
It seems Michael Moore has certainly found a way to get the message across to the people that need to hear it and the people that need to fix it.